In this powerful message, we dive deep into the emotional journey of surviving family rejection, overcoming shame, and embracing your true self. If you've ever felt unseen or unworthy, this video is for you. It's a call to stop bending to the impossible molds others have tried to put you in. You'll learn how to rise above manipulation, set healthy boundaries, and protect your peace. Discover the strength that comes from stepping into your truth and leaving behind the toxic expectations of those who can't accept you. Watch till the end to learn how you can break free and reclaim your worth, because you are chosen, and it's time to live like it. Before we start, I'd appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated on future lessons from God. From the very start, there was something in you that stood apart, something that couldn't be fully named but was felt deep in the marrow of your soul. It lingered in the air, in the way they looked at you, like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit into their world. You couldn't articulate it, but you knew it. In their eyes, you were always too much or never enough. Too loud when your joy bubbled over, spilling out like sunlight into a dark room. Too quiet when your mind retreated inward, seeking solace in its quiet corners. Too strong when you dared to stand firm in your truth, unwavering. Too weak when you let your guard fall and allow your raw emotions to show. No matter how you tried to bend, twist, and shape yourself to be what they wanted, your very existence seemed to be a problem, one they insisted needed fixing. And so, you tried. Oh, how you tried. You bent yourself into impossible shapes, convinced that if you just tried harder and sacrificed more of your essence, perhaps peace would follow. You adjusted your tone to soften the edges of your voice. You changed your words to avoid upsetting the fragile balance they demanded. And you even altered the way you moved, hoping that each change would bring you closer to their approval. You believed that if you just gave enough of yourself away, love and acceptance would come. But no matter how much you sacrificed, how many parts of yourself you surrendered, it was never enough. Their approval remained an elusive shadow, always just out of reach, the goalposts shifting with every step you took. And then, like a thief in the night, the shame crept in. It started as a whisper in the back of your mind, but over time, it grew louder and louder. The whisper turned into a persistent echo, constantly reminding you that they were right. You began to doubt yourself, to question your worth, your identity, and the very purpose of your existence. Anxiety clung to you like a second skin, wrapping itself around your every thought, suffocating your confidence. Self-doubt became a constant companion, and the person you once knew so well, the one who stood firm, unshaken by the world, was slowly slipping away. In your darkest moments, when the weight of it all became too much to bear, the pain turned inward. For some, it manifested in self-harm, a desperate cry for release, an attempt to numb the relentless ache in your chest. For others, it was the silent retreat into isolation, locking yourself away from a world that seemed to constantly echo the same rejection. But amid that darkness, a spark broke through. Barely a flicker at first, but enough to stir something deep within you. You saw it, for just a moment, like a distant star on the horizon. A glimpse of what family could be. You saw parents who celebrated their children without conditions and siblings who loved without rivalry. You saw families where love wasn't a prize to be earned, but a gift given freely, without hesitation. It wasn't jealousy that surged through you at that moment. It was grief. A deep, heart-wrenching grief for what you never had. For the love that should have been yours by birthright but was instead denied, withheld, and replaced with coldness and indifference. That grief, raw and suffocating, was your wake-up call. It was the moment you realized the truth. It was never you. It was never your fault. You were never the problem. You were the scapegoat, the one they projected their insecurities, failures, and hidden pain onto. Your light was never unseen. It was resented. It shone too brightly, illuminating the darkness they so desperately tried to hide. And instead of celebrating your light, they did everything in their power to extinguish it. As C.S.Lewis once wrote in The Problem of Pain, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pain. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. That pain wasn't meant to destroy you, it was meant to awaken you. To stir something deep within you that would finally allow you to see the truth. And when you began to see, when the scales fell from your eyes and the fog cleared, everything shifted. The rejection you carried for so long, the weight of their judgment, no longer held the same power over you. It became a testament to your resilience, a badge of honor that marked every battle you'd fought. The shame they handed you, like a cruel gift, became a reminder not of your inadequacy, but of their brokenness. Their inability to love was not a reflection of your unworthiness, but a reflection of their blindness. Now is your time. Your time to step into the light that you've dimmed for so long. To recognize that you were never meant to fit into their mold. You were born to break free from it. Your worth has never depended on their approval, on their acceptance. You are chosen, not by them, but by the one who created you. Stand tall in that truth. Let their rejection, their condemnation, be the fire that refines you, not the chains that bind you. You were made for more than their limited vision could ever comprehend. This, right now, is only the beginning. Slowly, ever so, you began to distance yourself, not out of bitterness or hatred, but out of a need for self-preservation. You finally realized that every time you stepped into their presence, a part of you died. Your peace was disrupted, your soul weighed down by their toxic expectations. They didn't want to build you up, they wanted to control you, to keep you small, to keep you in line with their distorted vision of who you should be. And when they saw that their grip on you was finally loosening, they panicked. They did what they've always done. They turned you into the villain. They accused you of abandoning them, of being ungrateful, selfish, and even cruel. But you know the truth now. And that truth, your truth, will set you free. They twisted the narrative once more, manipulating the truth to make you the villain, as they always had. It was as if their very existence depended on convincing others that you were the source of all their turmoil, the one who needed to be fixed, the problem that had to be solved. They spun their web of deceit, pulling others into their toxic grasp, weaving lies that sought to isolate you, to paint you as the outcast, the one who didn't belong. But this time, it didn't work. This time, you knew better. You knew the truth, your truth. Yes, there are moments when their words cut deep, when the weight of their accusations feels unbearable, when those old wounds they left behind begin to ache again. There are times when the doubt creeps in, when you find yourself questioning everything you've done, wondering if you're truly on the right path. In those moments, when the pain feels almost too much to bear, you must hold on to this one unwavering truth. God sees your heart. He sees the silent battles you fought, the nights you've spent crying into your pillow, the desperate prayers whispered in the darkness when no one was around to hear. He knows the depths of your soul, the burdens you carry, the pain you endure, and He is with you every step of the way. Psalm 55 verse 22 reminds us, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved." The hardest battles you will ever fight are not with strangers. They're fought with those who should have loved you the most, those who share your blood, your memories, your very history, your family. These are the people who should have been your sanctuary, your safe place, the ones who nurtured and uplifted you when the world was heavy. But instead, too often, they are the ones who wound you the deepest. Their words, sharp as daggers, their actions cruel in their indifference, their judgment scathing, these are the arrows they send to pierce your heart. But here's what they don't know. You are not defenseless. You are not powerless in the face of their manipulation and cruelty. You are not without wisdom, strength, or the protection of God, who shields you with His grace, His mercy, and His unshakable love. In those moments when their arrows find their mark, when their accusations land heavy, you must remember this. The same God who created you, who knows you better than anyone else ever could, will never leave you vulnerable. He will stand as your shield, your refuge, your ever-present strength. No weapon formed against you will prosper, no matter how many times they try to tear you down. Their attempts to break you will only build you up, because with every trial, with every hurt they throw your way, you are becoming stronger, more resilient, and more grounded in the truth that you are not defined by their lies. And in the end, it is not their opinions that matter. It is not their twisted view of you that will stand. What matters is that you stand firm in who you are, rooted in the love and protection of a God who sees, who knows, and who will never let you fall. Today, I want to guide you on how to protect yourself from their attacks, how to disarm the manipulation they send your way, and how to keep your peace intact. It all begins with understanding one foundational truth. Their attacks are not about you. They are about them. The words they throw at you are often born from their fears, insecurities, and desperate need for control over what they cannot govern or comprehend. You became their target, not because of anything you've done wrong, but because you refused to conform to the narrow mold they tried to force upon you. You dared to be different. You dared to shine your light in the darkness. You dared to walk in your truth. John 15 verse 18 speaks to this. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. This truth doesn't just apply to the world at large, it applies to the ones closest to you, even your family. Their rejection of your authenticity is not a reflection of your worth or your value. It is simply a reflection of their inability to accept what they cannot control or understand. When they come at you with harsh words, when they try to guilt you into submission, you must remember this. You are not obligated to respond to every attack. Sometimes the most powerful response you can give is no response at all. Silence is a weapon, a shield that protects your peace. Not every battle is yours to fight, and in many cases, the best thing you can do is let their words fall away without giving them the reaction they so desperately seek. The Bible wisely tells us in Proverbs 17 verse 28, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." Your silence denies them the satisfaction of seeing you react emotionally. It shifts the power back to you. In that silence, you maintain control and peace, while refusing to engage in their manipulative games. Remember, you don't have to explain yourself to those who will never understand your journey. But there are times when silence isn't enough. When silence is not an option, when their words demand an answer, this is when wisdom becomes your armor and your words become your shield. Respond with calmness and clarity. Do not allow yourself to be pulled into the emotional turmoil they seek to create. Instead, stand firm in your peace and speak with the authority of someone who knows their worth. You might say, "I hear your concerns, but I need to make choices that align with my peace and purpose." This response serves two purposes. First, it disarms their attempt to bait you into conflict, and second, it reaffirms your right to live according to God's plan for your life, not the distorted expectations they place upon you. By saying these words, you are not just setting boundaries. You are declaring your commitment to your peace and the calling that God has placed on your life. You are taking control of the narrative and reminding them, and yourself, that your life is not theirs to dictate. Stay rooted in your truth. The more you stand firm, the less power they will have over you. You are not defined by their accusations or manipulation. You are defined by the love and strength of the one who created you. When they accuse you of abandoning the family, when they label you as selfish or uncaring, when their words cut through the quiet spaces of your heart, respond not with defensiveness or shame, but with unwavering truth, wrapped in the grace that only comes from deep, profound self-awareness. Stand firm and say, with all the strength you can muster, "I love this family more deeply than words could ever express, but I cannot and will not sacrifice my well-being to meet expectations that were never intended for me. I hope that one day, with time, understanding, and reflection, you will see that my boundaries are not an act of rejection or abandonment, but a necessary step towards self-preservation, an act of loving myself so that I can continue to love you and be a healthy part of this family." By speaking these words, you are claiming your space, not out of defiance but out of clarity. These words offer no room for misinterpretation or manipulation, yet they demand accountability without hostility. You are acknowledging that your needs and well-being matter, just as much as anyone else's. And while it may not be easy for them to hear, your soul must speak them because your peace is sacred. Boundaries are your shield, and they are not just a right. They are a reflection of the deep respect you have for yourself, and your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Boundaries are not walls built to isolate or separate. They are fences designed to protect your peace, to safeguard the sacred space that exists inside you. Speak these truths boldly and without hesitation. I will no longer engage in conversations that are disrespectful, demeaning, or harmful to my emotional well-being. If this behavior continues, I will remove myself from the situation. I will not stand by while I am belittled or made to feel small. And when you say this, follow through, because your actions will teach them that you are serious. Your peace is not negotiable. You are not their punching bag, nor are you anyone's emotional dumping ground. This is the moment when you begin to recognize the power in saying no, the immense power in taking back control over your life. You are teaching them that their behavior has consequences, that they cannot simply trample on your soul and expect no repercussions. They cannot continue to hurt you without facing the truth that they've crossed a line. And let's be real, their attacks may not always be as overt as you expect. Sometimes, the poison comes in the form of subtle digs, Those little comments that seem harmless on the surface but leave a deep wound in your heart. But this is where you stand tall, armed with the truth that no one can take away your worth or your dignity. You respond not in kind, but with wisdom that comes from a higher place. Isaiah 54 verse 17 delivers this truth like a promise, one that you can claim in the face of every hurtful word and every attack. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Not their words. Not their manipulation. Not their judgment. None of it can prosper in your life if you do not allow it to. These weapons, however, they may be wielded, whether through harsh words or passive-aggressive behavior, will not have the power to define you. You are bigger than their judgment. And in those moments when it feels like everything is crashing down, when their words seem to echo in your mind and threaten to break you, remember that prayer is your ultimate defense. It is your secret weapon, your source of strength. It is the calm in the storm, the lifeline you can reach for in the chaos. Pray for wisdom. Pray for strength. Pray for guidance. And yes, pray for them, not because they deserve your prayers, but because you deserve peace. You deserve freedom from the weight of bitterness, resentment, and anger. When you pray, you are releasing the hold their words have on you. You are choosing forgiveness, not because they've earned it, but because it frees you. Say, Lord, I release their words and their actions to you. I trust you with my heart. Transform their hearts, and protect mine. This is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of trust. Trust in God's power to fight battles that you cannot. Trust in His ability to change hearts, even when it seems impossible. But there will be moments, dark, painful moments, when their words cut deeper than you thought possible. When their cruelty, even in its subtlety, awakens something in you. The child inside who still craves their approval, who still hopes, however naively, for their love to be unconditional. These moments are difficult. They will stir up the hurt from the past, from years of trying to prove your worth, from waiting for validation that never seemed to come. But in these moments, you must remind yourself of the greatest truth of all. You are already loved. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. You are fully and completely loved by the one who matters most. The one who knew you before you were even born and chose you anyway. Psalm 139 verses 13 to 14 says it so powerfully, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made." You do not need to earn His love. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone, least of all to people who will never truly see you for who you are. His love is unconditional. His love is constant. His love is a well that will never run dry. And that love is enough. It is all that you need. So, when they accuse you of being cold, distant, even heartless as you protect yourself, when they misunderstand your desire for space and label it as cruelty, remember this: distance is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the moment when you choose yourself, when you prioritize your mental, emotional, and spiritual health over toxic, draining relationships. Speak these words from a place of strength. I am choosing distance because I need clarity. I still love you, but I cannot allow this relationship to continue to harm me. And let that be enough. Let them hear the truth in your words. You do not have to explain yourself to anyone, especially not to those who refuse to respect your boundaries. Distance doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to protect your peace. It means you care enough to heal. And when your words come from a place of strength, grounded in love, not anger, let them feel your resolve. Let them feel the quiet power of someone who knows their worth, who will no longer accept less than they deserve. And yes, there will be moments when their words pierce through your defenses. There will be moments when their attacks feel like they've hit you at your core, when you feel the sting of their judgment, and the weight of their criticism feels too much to bear. But in those moments, do not let guilt or shame take root in your heart. Do not let it fester and poison you. Instead, take those wounds, however raw, however painful, and bring them to God immediately. Lay them at His feet. Cry out for healing, for restoration, for peace. Say, Lord, this pain is too heavy for me to carry alone. I can't do this on my own. Heal my heart. Remind me of my worth in your eyes. Remind me that I am enough, just as I am. And in that sacred moment, when you surrender your hurt, your anger, your confusion, you will find peace. You will find the comfort of a love that will never fail. And no one, not their words, not their actions, can take that peace away from you. The enemy will do everything in his power to use the words of others to pull you back into the suffocating grip of self-doubt and confusion. He will whisper lies into your heart, trying to make you believe that you are not worthy, that you are undeserving of peace or happiness, that your choices are wrong and your boundaries are selfish. But you must counterattack, and you must do it with the powerful, unshakable truth of Scripture. Isaiah 54 verse 17 boldly declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." This is not just a comforting verse. It is a promise from God Himself, a declaration that no matter how they try to manipulate, control, or judge you, their words and actions will not have the power to destroy the truth of who you are. Not their accusations, not their criticism, not their manipulation. God has already sealed you in His protection, and nothing can break that. Let us never forget the incredible power of prayer. Prayer is not a sign of weakness. It is your ultimate defense. It is your shield against the arrows of negativity, your refuge in the storm of judgment. Pray for strength to stand firm when everything inside you is tempted to break. Pray for wisdom to discern what is true and what is not. And yes, pray for them, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness is not about them. It is about you, about freeing your heart from the chains of bitterness and resentment. Say, Lord, I release their words and actions to you. Transform their hearts and protect mine. Every time you pray, you are declaring your trust in God's power, His ability to fight battles that are too great for you to face alone. You are choosing to let go of the weight of their words and place them in the hands of a loving, just God. There will be moments, painful, raw moments, when their words reach deep into your soul and awaken the child within you. That vulnerable part of you, the one who still longs for their approval, who still desperately hopes for their love to be unconditional, no matter how many times you've been let down. In these moments, you must remind yourself of a greater truth, a truth that is far stronger than any lie they try to feed you. You are already loved, fully and completely, by the one who matters most. Your value is not determined by their opinion of you. It is determined by God's perfect love, a love that cannot be swayed or taken away. Psalm 139 verses 13 to 14 declares with unshakable confidence, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You are not a mistake. You are not a disappointment. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone, least of all those who refuse to see you for who you truly are. God's opinion of you is the only one that matters, and it will never change. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, unique, and loved beyond measure. Do not, under any circumstances, let their attacks define your identity. Their words are not your truth. You are not selfish. You are not rebellious. You are not ungrateful. You are grounded in the love of God, and that love is your firm foundation. Hold on to this truth with everything inside you. The world may try to label you, to assign you a role that fits their narrative, but do not let it shake you. They may see you as the villain in their story, but God sees you as His beloved child, chosen for a purpose far greater than they could ever understand. You were created for more than the lies they try to put on you, more than the labels they try to affix. Your identity is rooted in God, and no one can take that from you. Stand firm in this truth. Let it anchor you in the storm. When they criticize, when they judge, when they question your decisions, remember who you are. You are a child of God, loved beyond measure, chosen for a purpose, and nothing they say or do can ever change that. God's love is enough. It is more than enough. Hold tight to this unshakable truth, and let it guide you, protect you, and give you peace amid the storm. Thank you for joining me in this powerful reflection on setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and standing firm in your truth. You've heard about the importance of recognizing your worth in God's eyes, standing up to negativity with grace, and embracing the strength of prayer and Scripture. So now, I want to hear from you. What has stood out to you the most from this message? What one lesson or truth will you commit to practicing in your life moving forward? Please share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Your story may inspire someone else. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Let's continue to grow together. Thank you for being here, and remember, you are loved, you are strong, and you are enough.